Oh, here. The following episode of Blackwell Podcast contains spoilers for all episodes of Life is Strange. Listener, don't. I don't give a shit.
Hey everyone, welcome to Blackwell Podcast, where we love Life is Strange more than Nathan appreciates a standing ovation from Samantha. I am Aaron, and today I'm joined by Joey.
Heyo.
Jamie.
Hello.
And Zach.
Hiyo.
And today we also have a very special guest with us, none other than Caleb Thomas, who, if you don't know, is the voice of Nathan Prescott in Life is Strange Before the Storm. How's it going, Nathan?
I'm doing very good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Doing well. Thanks.
I almost called you Nathan, which I guess is a compliment.
That's okay. That means I did my job right.
That's right. So, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. I don't remember when I found you guys on I believe Twitter or something like that, but you were suggested from a lot of fans of the game. So it's an honor to be here with you guys.
Oh, well. Thank you. The honor is ours.
Yeah, we're sorry that it took us so long.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, wars starting now. So, Caleb, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your aspirations, your dreams, what you wanted to be when you grew up. I'm kidding. But...
I'll give you a whole background check. My name is Caleb Thomas. I hail from a small town in Concrete, Washington, about 700 people. My graduating class was 24 people.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's very, very tiny. But it was an awesome little country town. But I came down to Hollywood, 6-7 years ago. And I started off, my TV debut was on Modern Family. Showed up, just flirted with Sofia Vergara, and then I was done for the day. So it wasn't a bad way to start. And then I got hired mostly by Nickelodeon. I did a series for them called Chase Champion. It's action, live action comedy on Nickelodeon, and a trilogy, time travel trilogy, called Lost in the West. It's like Back to the Future for kids. We shot that in Spain, so that was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we spent a few months over there filming that one. So I really got spoiled by Nickelodeon at the very beginning of my career. So, and then I've just peppered a few feature films in there, some other TV work, and my probably favorite project right now was finishing Life is Strange, because I never would have dreamed that I actually was going to be in a video game. So I'm very, very humbled and honored to be in such an awesome game. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Glad you got the chance to bring Nathan to life in Before the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this, but we're kind of fans of it, just a little bit.
A little bit.
Well, we got something in common. I didn't know I was going to be a fan of it, but then I started playing it, and I was like, this game is heavy, but it's good.
Yeah.
So good. Layer, really dive in there, unlike other games. So it's more,
for sure.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't like calling it a game. I like to call it more like a journey. Like you really get into it. So
That's a
I
good
like
way to
that.
put it, yeah.
yeah.
So what interested you in becoming an actor?
I did a few drama classes growing up, and I remember it was just always fun. And then I did this project in class. We had to pick an object and talk about it for like 5 minutes. And I, of course, didn't come up with anything until they called my name. And then I asked someone, I was like, oh, I need something. I need an object. So they handed me like a button. And I came up with a story about how Chuck Norris gave it to my grandma or something, but I just went on. And someone in that class told me, she said, oh, you should be an actor. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And then senior year, you got to talk about like what you want to do with your life. So I was like, Yeah, acting. I guess we'll just go with acting. And then I came down to Hollywood and it worked out for me. So thankfully, but it was a last second decision really. I didn't plan on it, but I just always enjoyed it. It's one of the most fun things you can do. It's very, uh, I don't know. I don't know. It's just fun. That's really the only word to describe it. It's a very fun job. And the fact that we get paid for it, it's just ridiculous. So,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Do you still have the button? Did you keep it?
No, I think I gave it right back to them. I would have known. But now I keep little mementos from every little set.
Yeah, I guess there's some drama teacher in, where was it? Concrete, Washington. You said?
Washington. Yeah. Let's see. Nicola Pearson.
Have that memento of how it all started your career.
Okay, so how did you get involved with the Life is Strange franchise?
I got involved with Life is Strange through a LA casting call on this website that actors use out here. And they said something, they didn't release any information. I just remember they said something about a voiceover in a video game, and they said need great range. And I was like, well, that's me. I have great range. So I went on Sunset, and I'm not sure what street, but this cool little sound booth. We went in there, and I went over the sides a couple times, and I understood. I caught onto their rhythm. Every person does it different. Every director does it such as like option A, option B, and option C. Or they're like more or less, they give certain notes, so you got to adapt real quickly. So I go into the booth, I do it a couple times, probably had 4 different sets of sides. And I run through it, and I remember they're like, all right, thank you very much. I walk out, and I remember seeing one of I believe the directors leaning against a chair talking to the sound engineer, whoever, going like, no, what we need more of this. We need more of this. So I'm like, oh, well, obviously I didn't get it. If they're talking about that the second you walk out and you can hear, you're like, nah, well, that one wasn't for me. I believe 2 weeks to a month goes by, and they hit me up there like, hey, we'd like to book you for the role. And I was like, oh, yeah, another miracle. I'm like, this is awesome. So we go in, I don't know, probably, I think they had a code name for it. I don't remember what it was, but they didn't tell me anything. Mm-hmm. They just had me go into the studio, record these lines. A lot of them were very like angry, like very, you gotta be very angry to say these things aloud, like mostly teenagers would say these things. And personally, some of the things, not, and I gotta relate and be specific to my version of Nathan, mm-hmm. not the one in the first game. They're the same person, but I had my own take on it. Mm-hmm. And so like some of the things I say in this version I can relate to, but the things he says in the first game I cannot. So to simplify that, so there's moments as a teenager that you get very frustrated and you could dig deep and find that anger to say these things. So it wasn't that hard to draw on that either from past experiences. So we do the different versions. You do soft, easier, and he'd give you notes, and then I'd leave the studio. And then they called me up a month later, and I believe I did 3 or 4 of these sessions where I just kept going into the studio and recording lines, but no one ever told me anything. So finally, on the last recording session, they're like, hey, would you like to see your character? And I was like, yeah. You guys have like the pictures, all the animation done? They're like, oh yeah, this is a prequel. And I'm like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, the first one's already out, and you're one of the only recurring characters. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea. So no one told me to match up to the original Nathan, and I love getting compliments from people saying, you did a good job of embodying the first Nathan, taking over. I honestly had no clue I was even doing that.
Like as you were recording, you didn't know?
As I was recording, I never knew I was playing Nathan Prescott.
Huh.
No one. So the fact that when I hear that, people are like, hey, the first one, and now that I played the first one, I noticed these little moments where I'm like, ooh, I did that one the same. I had no clue. That was just the director or whoever was in the studio with me, working with me, and just toning it and honing it in. So it was cool. It was cool to end up with that with that ending, really, and having no clue that was the goal. So they showed me a picture, and I got real excited once I found out who I was playing, and that there was a picture of me. I was like, yo, this guy looks like a cool cat, like he's got that jacket, and no clue, hadn't played the first one. Little did I know how dark this character really was. And then when the game finally came out, getting to play him, I was like, whoa, it was cool. It was very cool to see it all come to life, bit by bit. So yeah, that's basically how I got involved. I had no clue.
That's fascinating to me. That's some really cool insight, because I feel like it sounds like it was able to free you up a little bit just to be in your own space and give your own voice to the character, literally and figuratively.
Yes.
And it really did come together nicely, because I even like that you touched on the fact that it sort of is a different character. It's the same guy, but it's a different time in his life, and we're seeing a different side of Nathan. And I'm glad that you were able to do it unencumbered by any prior knowledge or having to live up to any sort of expectation. That's really cool.
Yeah, it definitely made it easier not having to reach that level of creativity that the first one did, because it was fascinating to go back and play and listen and experience the world through Nathan's eyes in the first game, because that is a totally different time in his life, and to see how he got there was a lot of fun to actually kind of live it and see what it takes to push someone to that level. So
for sure, yeah.
And you nailed it too.
Definitely. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Like I said, I got to give credit to everyone I worked with in the studio, because they just tweaked it, and they're the real heroes here.
Well, that's actually a great segue into the next question, and you kind of already answered it, but did you know anything about Life is Strange before you got the role? And if not, what research did you do once you got the role?
Yeah, by the time I had finished the game on that last session where they told me, I think that's when I took a quick look into the first game. I mostly actually watched videos on YouTube because I didn't have time to sit down and play it, to be honest. But I watched a lot of videos, and I love the videos that people put online. Like, some of them are 4 hours long, and I'm just like, oh, this is cool to see someone else's journey. You see them really get into it. So that's the kind of backwards research I did, because the game was my work was already done. So there's no homework that I could have done beforehand, but it was fun to do it afterward. And I got lucky because I actually knew a few people who were doing some of the other voices, and they did not get to see what their characters were going to be like. But I did. So I got the cool one.
Get the inside scoop.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember, that was one of the coolest times, was when they showed me a picture on the laptop of my character. I was like, what? And I remember I forgot the name. I went home. I was trying to remember it for the longest time. And I was like, Nathan, what? Nathan, what's this game again? And then I talked to my friend, Katie Benz, who does a voice in the game. And she's like, it's Life is Strange. And I was like, okay, got it. And then from there, I just kept looking at pictures and watching the videos. I've eventually played the first one, but yeah, not till months after my work was done. I did actually play mine, Before the Storm, before I played the first one. I'm not sure why. I just, maybe that was the way the timing worked out, or I did it subconsciously because I like mine better. One of the two. So.
That's interesting because I feel like we've talked about that before, and I don't think I know anybody personally who has done it in that order.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be like filming a sequel without knowing it, and they're like, "Oh, it would have been nice to have known." But but yeah, I think it was cool. Just actually, like you said, how freeing it is to let me do my own thing, and
Hmm.
thankfully we were close to it. So yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
I'll see.
there was never any time playing where I wasn't like, yeah, that's Nathan. Like it was definitely like you nailed it. So it was cool.
You ever see sequels like Jurassic One where they have like the main character the same person, but the co-star or the side character isn't the
Yeah.
same person, and you're
Yeah.
like, something's not right. Either you notice it or you don't, but it hopefully it takes you out and then brings you back in if it's a good movie. But sometimes it just takes you out, and you're like, yeah, the second one was good, but man, I wish they would have had so and so back in it. So hopefully no
Right.
one's doing that. Like, oh man, yeah, like I mean, I'm sure there's some people who hated what I did with the character, but I could care less what they think. And so I just listened to the people who are like, no, it was close, because I'm like, that's amazing. Like my mind is still blown that this is the order of the way things came about. So,
Right.
but it makes for a great podcast story.
That's true. Yeah, I'm personally glad that Jeff Goldblum was in The Lost World. I think he was the only good part of that movie, but that's another discussion. But I feel like
There
it's
we
also
go.
different, right? I feel like it's also different with voice acting though, because in a like live action movie, if you have a different actor and a different character, it's established that it's just a new character. And I think it was really gutsy that they didn't really tell you that you were voicing an existing character in the series, because there have been so many instances in like like an animated TV show or anything that involves voice acting where it's the same character and another voice actor steps in, and a lot of the time it's really off base and it's kind of like jarring because it's like it's that same character, but the voice the cadence and the intonations are so different, and I think it's like kismet that it just sort of worked out, and it was very, very seamless.
And it's funny because they kind of wiped the whole cast and replaced everyone, but a lot of people were new, and a few people other than myself who did wonderful jobs of becoming reoccurring characters. I think everyone really just zoned into the right way. I wonder if they told the other recurring characters who they were playing, such as, well, I don't know, I can't
Yeah,
remember his name.
I think Rihanna knew,
Real.
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah. See, like that's lucky them. Maybe they just didn't trust me. I don't know.
Well,
But
Rihanna had she was doing the mocap, so she kind of already knew
Right.
the project.
that's right. Oh, how much fun could that have been? Oh, I would have loved to have done it. I wish they would have let me done some of the motion capture work for Nathan, even though I don't really look like him. Maybe for a Halloween costume or something. But anyways.
keep that in your back pocket this year.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any good stories that came out of the recording booth while you were making the game?
Besides what I've already shared, I got a kind of a not in the booth because I was there to work. I remember going in there and they were always setting a few hours aside, and I'd go in there and hopefully crank it out in half the time, say, and I'd be very proud of that. So I'm like, all right, down to business. But it was cool running into people because no one did their sim recording in the room. Everyone had their own session, so I would only meet people in passing and saying, oh, what character are you playing? Oh, okay, cool. So that was the only time. So I met a few familiar faces, such as my friend Katie. So to find out that she was in the game, I was like, this is awesome. Small world down here in Hollywood. But one of the mistakes I made, because I was so excited, is actors always have to take a picture when they're on set or when they're in the recording studio. And it's just something we got to do. So I would take a picture and I'd post it. Ooh, something went off. I would take a picture and post it of me in the studio, and I accidentally tagged whatever fake name they had for the game that they were giving me. And so every once in a while I'd get the, hey, shush, stop posting. I'd be like, oh, okay, whoopsies. And it came down to the time where, because part 1 was released at a time, part 2 and part 3. By the time I believe part 3 was on its way, people were telling me, they're like, this is the date. So I was like, awesome. So I'd retweet that, and then I'd get a quick little email going, hey, listen, you need to take that down right now, because that's not, you're not supposed to be saying nothing. And I was like, oh no, that wasn't me. I was just retweeting. So I got in trouble a few times for posting little selfies and stuff like that about it. So that's really the only crazy story I have, other than them not telling me who I was playing. So it was all fun. Like, it was all fun. What a great experience. I'm so happy to be a part of it, and what a learning experience it was too.
It's like what's his name? Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
I was gonna say they would never trust me with Infinity War. Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo combined. Tom Holland's pretty bad. And you know what's funny is I have worked with Tom Holland on this orange carpet with Nickelodeon, this hosting gig, and he was awesome. But I remember he was telling things about how they filmed certain things and the scenes, and he's just full of trivia, and he just wants to share it with everyone. So very cool. Definitely can get some insider info from him.
So going back to Nathan, what do you personally think are his greatest strengths and weaknesses?
Nathan Prescott's greatest strengths and weaknesses. His weaknesses existing. It's beating him down. I mean, is he the bully or is he the bullied?
Right.
Like, which one comes first? So, like, the guy is not only emotionally tormented, but he's physically. He's abused, or he's backed into a corner from bullies at school to his father. But that's not to say maybe he asks for it a little bit, because he likes to, I don't know. He likes to pester a little bit, as you can tell. He likes to push buttons. So, his strengths one day are to stand up to people, but it's not in the right way. So if anyone can take any lesson from the character, it's just bullying is not okay. And
right.
It has consequences. Not saying those are the consequences, but it has a drastic effect on people. And if you haven't experienced it, you will experience both sides of it in both games.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, do you relate to Nathan in any way?
Oh, yes. I think that's what made it easy for me to relate to Nathan was I wasn't really bullied growing up, but I've been picked on. I think we've all been picked on.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely was not bullied in the way he was, but I guess, I don't know. I've been shoved down before. I'm a small person, and I'm definitely not afraid to yell at people back. I think that's what I found fun about the character is if he does get pushed, he does push back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You had to find that anger that he gets is not always easy, but I think we've all lived it. So I believe everyone can do a little bit of their own voiceover work and practice the Nathan character, because luckily he expresses himself. A lot of people bottle that up, and that's not okay. I don't know if that answers the question, if I can relate to that a little bit, but yeah. I don't think you can do a character well without relating to them just a little bit, and the more you do relate to them, the better you can do. So that's the mystery answer I have. So.
All right. Well, we'll take it.
So this one is actually something that I'm very curious about, and I would love to hear it from you. What is your favorite Nathan line?
Oh yes, this I do enjoy this question actually. Um, the first taste I got was from the trailer, uh, where after he gets shoved down in the front of the school, he yells, "You think I need help from you?" And I saw that and I lost my mind, and I was like, "I made it, Mom. That's so cool." And I remember going into the studio and just doing all those different versions and to see which one they use. Now, what's cool is I didn't know is they were going to use different versions for the different choices. I had no idea it was that style of a game.
Right.
Oh, okay.
People would every time I thought we were doing the different options, I'm like, oh, they're just trying to find different levels. Little did I know they were using all these different styles of the line and different lines in different places. So that was cool, knowing all the everything that I had done. Mostly, none of it went to waste. They used it all. So.
Yeah, that is really cool, and I imagine it's it's got to be like a rush, like when you're doing all that work and recording all those lines, and I don't know if you ever like hear them played back for you or if you just kind of do it and then go about your business, but like hearing it in the context of the game and seeing the visuals and then hearing your voice, I don't know, that's got to be such a cool feeling.
It's definitely what I live for. Not to be full of myself. I like getting to see the projects when they're done, because at that point I'm no longer thinking that's me or hearing or seeing any of that's me. I'm watching the character. And once again, if I've done my job right, hopefully everyone's seeing that. But to see it in a video game, that was something I was never expecting. So I really had nothing to go on as far as imagination goes on what it was going to turn out to be. When you first read the script, you get your first version, an idea in your head of what it's going to be, and then you perform it and you get another version, and then when you see it, that's the third one, and you don't remember the first two. So it completely erases, and then it's just fun at that point because you're like, I couldn't even imagine that it was going to be this way. So, yeah, seeing that finally, or getting to play it, is even probably more fun, to be honest, than just watching it on a TV. Yeah, I never thought about that before, actually. I do enjoy actually doing that a little bit more because I don't know, you get to experience a little bit more. It's more of a come along with me kind of journey. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's more personal, more immersive.
Yeah. Words right out of my mouth. So yeah, to go back, let's see, some of my favorite lines. Oh yeah, the first one was sing that you think I from you in the trailer, and then definitely probably my favorite one is when Nathan is performing on stage, Caliban, and he tries to give his best performance at what seems to be Shakespeare, so he's trying or something. And at the very end, you hear the people taunting in the crowd, Nathan. You just hear him, he's just gotta let it out. You see him holding it in, but at a certain point, he breaks and he's, fuck you. He's just gone. So I think we've all felt that, and especially as an actor, you go in, you do some auditions, you walk out, you're like, oh, that was not good, and you just want to be like, fuck you. So I don't know if you're saying that to them or yourself, but you just gotta let it out. So that was a fun one.
Hashtag relatable.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so those are probably my favorite two.
Nice.
Out of all the students at Blackwell, which one would you like to hang out with the most, and why?
Oh, Nathan. No, I'm kidding. You'd be hard to hang out with.
He'd definitely be a handful.
Yeah. Max.
It's a good
I feel
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anybody could get along with Max.
She's very agreeable. So.
Yeah.
And then-
I was gonna say yeah. Sorry. Max is definitely my favorite character.
She's always gonna have the right things to say too, because she can just rewind and she says something that fucks up the conversation.
It's like, oh shit, give me a sec.
I can fix this.
She like even if you had her on a linear story, that would be a crazy ride. So
Yeah.
just to see it go from jumping around is crazy enough.
So, if of all the other characters, if you were given the opportunity to voice them, who would you choose and why?
Oh, man, I don't know too many of the characters' names anymore. It's been a minute. Let me think. You know who I thought was actually an interesting character was the dad. Because what's the dad's name?
William? Chloe's like biological dad?
Are you talking about Sean, Nathan's dad?
I believe the stepdad.
Oh,
David.
David.
Oh, David.
David. Dive into that character a little bit more.
Mm.
I want to see what's going on in that household to make it so insane. Like, obviously we find out what's going on in each and everyone's lives, but I don't know. That character's kind of fun. Who plays the bully? Or what's the bully's? I'm so sorry. I'm butchering the name.
Are you talking about
Drew?
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah.
I love that character too. I like because that's just I don't know, to see what goes on between him and Nathan's always fun too. So
Mhm.
Yeah, man, I need to play it again to dive into the characters more. I would have more to answer on that one. I don't know. Yeah, I've never really thought about it if I was gonna voice or play the other characters. I've just been so caught up with enjoying Nathan's. So that'll be my homework, is I'll take my time with each and every character from now on.
You'll have to add us on Twitter when you have a more concrete answer.
I got to get some time where I can sit down, because I've also on the first game I have jumped around. I don't believe I have sat down and played it straight through. Like, it takes some time, but I just the other day we did a stream where I got to play it and dive in a little bit more, and I barely knew what I was doing. But it's to go through it again and really spend some time on it would definitely be a treat. So that's my homework.
And that's the cool thing about it is it's one of the things I love most about the game is that it has a lot of replayability, and there's a lot that you can do even if you like just go through the story. Not only are there different choices you can make and see different outcomes, but at least in season 1, there's the collector mode where you can go and take photos, and it's just there's a lot there. It's really dense.
I love the fact. Yes, I just love the fact that you can play with going rewind, because the rewind is the most fun part about the game from my point of view.
Yeah.
If you could do that in every game, it would save so much time. Or it would make it twice as long. I'm not sure, but that was finding that out about this game was a lot of fun. Like I said, they didn't tell me, so when I first got to sit down and play it, and I believe I played with some friends, they were telling me about it. They're like, actually, yeah, you can hop around in time. I was like, ooh, I love time travel. So that made it just a little extra fun for me.
Yeah, that is cool, and it was an interesting take too, because a lot of like choice-based games that follow the style of Life is Strange, like a lot of the Telltale series, it'll do like you can do what's called save scrubbing, where it's like if you say something that was a bad choice or whatever, like you can just like reload your last save, and
Try something else.
Right, but having this ability to rewind, it added, and the way they did it too was cool because it still kept a level of uncertainty if you were actually saying the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I guess yeah, that does add a whole extra amount of tension.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, because I don't know about you guys, but I tend to just say things. I don't really like think about my option A, option B, and option C. So when you're faced with that, it's like, ooh, decision making. It's scary when you actually have to do it.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Next question. So what advice would you give to those who are either in need of help or seeking those for a friend?
what advice would I give? Oh, I would have to say, the most cliche thing. No, my advice is buck up. You gotta get a little, like a little pep in your step. You know, like it takes one little amount of courage to speak up, and I don't know. Who am I addressing this to? Let's be a little bit more specific. Who I'm talking to? Am I talking to a real person, or am I talking in context of someone in the game?
I would say like people that are like maybe going through being bullied.
Oh, people who are going through being bullied. Talk to someone. Oh, you need to talk to someone. Yeah. If I'm gonna give any advice to someone who's being bullied, one is, it sounds wrong to say you can't take it, but you need to address it. You can't. Something I was told when I was younger is emotion is kind of like a soda pop. You know, you shake it up every time you get frustrated, and then you let it all out. You untwist the cap, it's gonna explode. So you gotta let out a little bit of pressure at a time. The only way you're gonna do that is you gotta talk to someone. You gotta speak up. It takes a lot of courage to speak up, but you have to be willing to do it, or else no one's gonna help you. People aren't mind readers. You know, like we can't tell what's always going on behind the curtain. You know, we don't know what people are thinking or what people are going through. So, and one to the bullies, it comes from an insecurity. So you need to figure out what about you makes you angry and makes you hurt other people. It all comes from an insecurity somewhere or something that's happening to them. It's not you. So people who are being bullied need to understand that as well. It's not you. That tends to be more of like a size thing. That's just the food chain, because I was a small guy in school. So I understand you're an easy target. It's nothing really more than that. So that's just, unfortunately, that's the food chain right there. That's the way of nature. But you gotta stand up and be willing to help yourself. And you speak up. People always expect them to know what's going on. Like, how could they do that to me? Like, well, they don't know. So on both sides, like nobody knows the other person's story. So talk to someone. That's the best thing I can tell someone. If it's in school, tell a teacher. Oh, you have to tell a teacher, tell a parent, tell people, speak up. Like, it's a numbers game. If you talk to 5 people, someone's bound to do something. So, but you got to be willing to help yourself on both sides. Look inward, find out what's going on, and fix it. People are so lazy, they don't want to fix their problems, and they let it become something that it shouldn't be. So, fix your life, people.
Yeah, and I think that's important too. Just, there are people there that will help you, whether it be a parent or a teacher, or even just a close friend or confidant. But it's also important, as you were saying, not to keep stuff bottled up. And sometimes it can just be liberating and kind of relieve that stress when you just talk about it and get it out in the open. So I think that's pretty good advice.
Yeah, if anything, if you majority of everyone has a phone nowadays, do a vlog on it. Like, if anything, sit down and just talk about it. Record yourself, talk about it, post that on YouTube or something like that. Then people will hear your story. Then people will stop. I don't know. That's a weird strategy, but who knows? It's something. I would.
Yeah, social media is like a powerful tool nowadays, which can really help people.
I love reading the stories. I don't listen to a lot of news or watch a lot of news, but when I am going through it, I love reading the encouraging stories about when people end up being bullied. And there's this one, I believe a mom was taking a video of her son saying this is what happens, and she's just asking her son like what's going on, and the kid's crying and going like, oh, these kids were picking on me, and she posted online, and all these celebrities responded, and they're like, keep your head up, bud. Like Hugh Jackman, I think, said something. He was like, hey, you need a buddy or something like that. Like, it was insane. Like, all these celebrities and big famous people just responded, and I'm sure that just changed this kid's world. Like, that's how powerful that was.
Yeah.
So use it if you can use it as a platform. And it's making movies for me is therapy. You get to explore these emotions and these feelings. So it's not only is it a fun job, but it's extremely therapeutic. And if that could help you, join a club or something like that, and make friends. That's one of the things they tell you when you come down to Hollywood. Not only to go to classes and workshops to learn, but just to meet people. And you're building this great circle around you of people who have the same passions and interests that you do. So, but you gotta have the courage. You gotta have the courage to at least put yourself out there. So.
Right on.
Well said.
Yeah.
I'm reading it off the script here.
Yeah. Forever an actor. So shifting gears a little bit, I think you touched on this before when we were talking about which other characters in Life is Strange you would have liked to act for. But just in general, what's your dream role as an actor / voice actor?
What I would honestly love to do as a voice actor. I'm a huge fan of the World War II games, like Medal of Honor. Those are the ones that I kind of grew up. I like these. I wouldn't just say first-person shooter, but I love combat games because I'm never going to be in combat. So it's kind of fun to dive into that imagination for a little while. But I thought it was an insane history lesson because I do believe Steven Spielberg had a hand in helping make the first Medal of Honor game, or may not have been the first one, but one of them on PlayStation 2. And I just had a blast because it was like I got to hop into a time machine and dive into history. Like, it took me there. My imagination in the game was so well done at the time that it took me on that journey. And I had it was insane. Like, you really get into it, and I love that feeling of getting to just go on that ride of something that I never thought I would. Well, I can't because World War II already happened. So, but yeah. So it was fun to just kind of hop in a time machine and go. So my dream job or a project for voiceover would definitely be some war games. I think just some. That's not too dramatic of an answer or anything like that, but those are just the kind of cool games that I find. Master Chief would be fun in Halo. He's always cool.
Yeah.
He's a legend, right?
Speaking of, isn't Spielberg supposed to be directing like a Halo series or something?
Oh man, he better be, because things have been in the works for years. These things, man, you always hear stories about how things are on their way, and then you're just sitting here and waiting. Did you guys see Ender's Game?
I didn't see it. I read the book.
Yeah, I've read the book.
Oh, the book is phenomenal. It's one of the best books ever.
Yeah,
It's really good.
Yeah, the movie was good. Check that out. But a dream role as an actor. Oh man, my favorite actor is the good old crazy Mel Gibson. He's always an entertaining watch. I love his intensity, but I love the boss level that Denzel Washington brings to his films, like Man on Fire, Book of Eli. He's just Training Day. I'll give you his whole IMDb. He's an amazing, those two guys. I love the likability of Tom Hanks. So But the movies I like the most from an actor are probably Tom Cruise, because I love the Mission Impossible. I love action films, like action films that are worthy. A great one that has story. I mean, Transformers seems fun, but it can be a little hollow at times. It's not to say I don't like watching Camaro go up and down all day. So, but man, something like an Indiana Jones would be fun. But I like big. I like big action adventure. You gotta have a slice of comedy in there. It's I don't want to say it's easy, but it's cheaper to do either comedy or drama, because all you need is a situation, and it's about how you react to that situation.
Right.
So we can make a feature today. Well, obviously not in one day, but we can start today, and it could be comedy or drama, and it could be good, and we could do it with no money. But coming up in the action adventure world with Nickelodeon, I was running around. We had explosions, running from monsters. There's superpowers. It's green screen work. It's stunts. I had so much fun pretending I'm in that world. That's what I would love to build a career in. It's definitely action adventure. But it's got to be funny, man. You got to have some humor in there, or else you just get too serious. So
Right.
you got a perfect eye.
Well, hopefully your career will find that.
It has to. It has to.
All right, so E3 just passed. Did you watch E3? And if you did, are there any games you're looking forward to?
I have gone back and watched videos of E3. The trailers, the moments, and whatnot, but I did not watch the thing live, or I did not get a chance to watch it as it was streaming or go there or anything like that. But I have gone back and watched a few, and I gotta say, I actually have a list right in front of me of my favorite.
So do I.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What's number one on your list?
It's tied between The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit and The Last of Us Part 2.
That I have. Well, of course, Captain Spirit is gonna win, just because that's home right there. But yes, The Last of Us Part 2 is actually on my list as one of my favorites, and I'm most anticipating or looking forward to. I was actually most surprised with not what was going on in the story, but how good it looks.
Oh yeah.
Like there's the graphic level and whatnot, and how real things are looking. Like that's I put little notes next to each of my trailers that I was like, ooh, that really jumped out at me at first glance. So I'm excited for The Last of Us Part 2. What are you? What else is on your list?
Well, I wrote down like everything that was shown at E3, so it's a pretty long list.
Your list is a lot bigger than mine.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really else that I can really say about.
What do you guys think of the Captain Spirit trailer?
It looks good. I'm very excited.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's cool that it's a bit of a different adventure. Looks like it's gonna be mostly you just kind of running around, make believing on your own, which sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's very childlike, which is cool and exciting. Everybody likes that stuff.
There's a movie that came out a few months ago. I believe Warner Brothers distributed it. It's called I Fight Monsters.
Yeah.
Do you know what one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen a trailer or anything, but I just saw it somewhere in some streaming service. They were offering it to rent. It looks interesting.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
it's like a make believe thing, like Captain Spirit is.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah. It's almost the same idea of reality versus what's going on in their mind, and so that is always fun because once again, that's just a trip back down as when you're a kid. Basically,
Right.
that's the I have is like you're playing make believe. And it's fun to kind of go backwards a little bit and get a taste of that. Especially the older you get, the less you can do that, unless you're me. So this, I think this is actually going to be a little more lighthearted and a lot more fun, as far as everything goes. It's obviously not. I don't think it's gonna get too dark. I hope it doesn't. It may.
It's
Well,
don't not.
if we know anything about Life is Strange, yeah.
Yeah, that's as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know, but I'm very excited to see it, and it looks fun. You know, it's sad though, as you saw what happened to the mom. No, obviously
Right.
no spoilers. If you watch the trailer, you can tell that a tragedy happened in the family. So we're starting off with that again, which is always a sad beginning. So now that once again I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this one is gonna get heavy. So
Yeah,
But-
there's no doubt about that.
I'm excited. I am excited that one. I got on my list here. I also have a Cyberpunk. Did you guys see the trailer for that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one
That-
looks crazy.
The reason I like that one is it's got this the Mad Max and Blade Runner feel, which are just some of my fun in the future films that I like. Let's see.
Speaking of Mad
Days
Max,
Gone.
there's
Oh, yeah.
Rage. Rage 2 got shown. That looks like basically like
yeah.
Mad Max.
I love the post-apocalyptic kind of hard metal kind of world that they build.
Yeah.
Yeah, like once again, like hey, going all the way back to like Road Warrior with Mel Gibson. That's not really a movie I would say I grew up watching. It was a little before my I don't know, my generation would have watched it, and it's kind of a weird R-rated film. But I do enjoy that kind of futuristic idea. Like that's what George Miller had in his mind versus what maybe Ridley Scott had for Blade Runner. Like two completely different versions of what's going on in the future. And that's why another reason I absolutely love this game is time travel. I've been very honored. I've done 3 projects. My Nickelodeon trilogy, Lost in the West, is time travel. I did a movie called Magic Radio, which is time travel. And I did one more. I can't remember what it is. But I remember I did 3 things with time travel. So I absolutely love the time travel aspect of film and games. So that was just another plus for Life is Strange.
Nice.
I know you mentioned Master Chief in Halo earlier, so you excited for Halo? What is it? I think it's Infinite. Yeah.
Is it Infinite or Infinity?
I think it's Infinite because that's where that's where I stumbled on. The Infinity is like a ship in the Halo universe, but I think this one's just called Infinite.
Okay, and does Infinity have a Y at the end, or is that still an E?
I think it's in. I think it's just an E.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Awesome.
one looks cool.
Yeah, Master Chief is still one of the coolest characters of all time. Like, if for some reason, I believe they have like a Netflix show very close to it. I don't know if it's actually Halo. I'd have to go and watch it. But if Spielberg is there one?
They have Fall of Reach, or they had it on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It's like it follows the story of Reach.
Oh, they have Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn on Netflix.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty.
Alright,
That's pretty decent actually.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah, I think Forward Unto Dawn is like live action, and then Fall of Reach is like CG and animation.
And then there's Halo Legends as well.
Oh man, they're almost doing like what Star Wars did. You got animated, live action animated, like with the Clone Wars and anyways.
Yeah.
Hey man, the more they dive into the Halo world, the better. I would like to see what's that movie? Hardcore Henry, but in Avatar Halo world. Like I say Avatar just because the way they made that movie and everything like
Right.
that. So if you take that technology, you make the world of Halo, or what's the Matt Damon Jodie Foster one that they did? He's got to go up to the flying ship up in space.
Is that Elysium?
Elysian.
Yes,
Or-
yes. So you
Elysian,
take that, the technology they got of Avatar, and you roll it all into a ball and you make the Halo movie. So that would be. I would love to be in on that. I don't know if I'm tall enough to play Master Chief though. What are the little grunts that run around?
Yeah.
Yeah, the grunts.
Yeah, I could play one of those. I remember I used to play Halo so much when I was younger. I would have nightmares of little grunts chasing me.
At least it was
That
just
is terrifying.
Oh yeah. Thank God
Could
I'd
be
wake
worse.
up and then I'd go play Halo again. I'd be like, oh, this is why this is happening.
It's like a weird vicious cycle.
Yeah, that's another reason why I enjoyed the Medal of Honor, the World War II video games. Is I'd have dreams like I was in combat. I'd wake up, I'm like, oh no, they're gonna get me. So after a while, you got to take a little breather if you get too emotionally and mentally invested. So
Right.
awesome, but yeah, I don't believe I got a chance to see all the trailers, so I'm sure you have some other ones on there that I haven't seen yet, but. I'm excited, especially for Captain Spirit, because to dive into this universe more, man, like that's the number one on my list. Like that was the whole reason I was watching. So
Yeah.
I'm into
Yeah.
it.
We're all really excited for that one.
Well, speaking of the Life is Strange universe,
Nice segue.
to go back into it, do you think you and Nathan could be friends in real life?
I think we are friends in real life. I think either I know a few of him, or I see him in the mirror a little bit, but in a toned down, sane version. But I gotta remind people about that. It's something I didn't know is after playing the first or Before the Storm, I was like, yeah, Nathan's not that bad of a guy. And then people are like, have you played the first game? I'm like, no, I haven't. And then I played it and I was like, oh, okay. I did not know all this. So so yeah, like I said, my version is a little more tame in what was portrayed in Before the Storm. So that version I could be friends with. I think I could help that kid. I could be his friend. As far as the first game, that kid's tough. He's a little too extreme for me to hang out with. And he does a lot of things that I do not partake of, so I wouldn't be in that crowd. So he's an extreme character. So there you go. Before the Storm I could be friends with, yes.
Before the complete fall from grace.
Yeah. I think that's at a certain point when we lose a lot of our friends is when they cross that threshold.
Right.
Okay, so we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, about playing through Season 1 and Before the Storm. So we'll ask, what were your favorite moments playing through those episodes?
My favorite moments when playing Before the Storm. Let me think. I love all the Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, that part's
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool little treat to a game within a game. You know what always gets me scared is because I don't do this in real life, but in the game you're like, oh, this is so bad. Is every time one of the characters snoops, you're like, oh, this is just not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you keep doing it?
You're like, oh, I gotta find out what's going on. But you're looking at them and you're like, this is, you should stop. So that was an interesting thing to play. The flashbacks, so sad. Every time she's in the car with her father. Spoiler. No, I didn't reveal anything.
There's a
that's-
spoiler warning. It's okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
That's right. Those were I don't know. I believe, are there 3 of those? Are there 4 of those? Those flashbacks. The junkyard stuff is fun. Mess around in the junkyard. That was kind of cool. Very dramatic was spoilers again. When they look through, what are those things on the lookout? And they discover who's under the tree.
Oh, the viewfinder.
Yeah, the viewfinder, that one, that's intense. See, none of this stuff goes on in my real life, so all these things were like, ooh, this is bad stuff. So it's kind of a treat to see what goes on in other people's lives. So, What else? Trying to remember some of the things. Yeah, I think that's about it. Those are my answers. Yeah, those are some of my favorite things.
Yeah, good
Of
answer.
course, every with Nathan.
It's
It's always
implied.
fun. Yeah. Need I even say it? I'm Nathan's number one fan. When people tell me that, I'm just like, no, honey.
Slow your roll. Yeah, no, I think those are definitely good moments. There's especially the junkyard. I think would be a cool place to hang out. And there's actually last summer I took a trip up to Seattle to see my buddy, and I came back and I went down the Oregon coast, and I was exploring all these different towns that people said were, inspiration for Life is Strange, and I went through Newport, Oregon, and there is actually like a scrapyard there, and it looks a lot like American Rust, and it was very evocative. So
That is cool.
yeah, if anybody wants to go to Newport,
How far is Newport from Portland?
that's a good question. I've never been to Portland. I drove through it on the way there, and I want to say it's at least a couple hours because it's like I think Portland's more inland and Newport's like right on the coast.
I know.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
The the main strip of Arcadia Bay, where the Two Whales Diner and like that main little like beach strip. There is it starts with a G. I can never remember. It's
Garibaldi, right?
Garibaldi, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I think I want to say like 2 hours. I don't know. I fell asleep in the car, but it's around 2 hours away from Portland, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Garibaldi's cool. It does have that nice little strip. It's very populated. At least when I was there, people were. Yeah, there's a lot of like cool little shops and stuff. I personally was looking for a good lighthouse, which is what brought me to Newport. And I think there's one near Garibaldi, but it's smaller. And I was in Garibaldi, and I had to make the choice. I was like, okay, do I want to go like south to Newport, or if I had gone like an hour or two north, I would have gone to Cannon Beach, which is where they filmed The Goonies, which I still want to see at some point. But yeah, it was a good. It's like that whole state, really. I mean, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Did you find the lighthouse?
I did. Yeah, there's one in Newport, and it's like right on the water. It's just, I mean, it's amazing to look at, and yeah. Should
Now,
definitely check it out if you can.
Where did you find a inspiration for the school?
I didn't. There is I saw a high school there, but it's not like, it's not like big and, as ostentatious as Blackwell.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think either Michelle or Christian or one of them have tweeted about like the school that was the inspiration for Blackwell. Maybe it is the one you saw, Aaron. I don't know. I never made it to there. But I know there is like a real world school that was the actual.
I definitely have to go there and get a picture.
Nice.
There's a fountain in front of it, and I'll throw a book in it and everything.
There you go.
How does it go? Is it weeks or months? That took me months to put together. Is it weeks? That took me weeks to put together. I'm not sure, but one
months
of those.
sounds more dramatic. We'll go with that.
All right. That's got to be a road trip, though.
Yeah, for sure. I would recommend it for anybody. So being Nathan's number one fan, if you could change one thing about him, what would it be?
From the first game or second game or just personality?
I guess in general, or if you have anything specific from each game.
Oh man, I wish I could change some of those decisions he makes. I guess both games. No. As far as personality, I don't think I can change anything about his personality because, in a weird twisted way. Like, I like what was done in the first game, and to see how he became that. Granted, I didn't know that was the plan, but to see it all laid out in front of me now, it's weird how much time. Like, I feel the timelines were laid out very good. So you see what happens in Before the Storm, and time passes, and you see the effects of the things that happen to him. And you're like, these things, they fester, they grow, and these are the extremes that people get pushed to. So I wish I could change some of his decisions, and I wish I could change how he gets bullied, but it's all part of the universe, and it's a game. So
for sure.
You got to see these characters go through it, and you learn a lot as an audience member and as a player. So, but yeah, I don't think I'd change anything about him. I think he's right where he needs to be.
Sure. Yeah, I think, well, it sounds like you don't necessarily want to change who he is per se, but maybe would have just liked to see, had things panned out a little bit differently, who he could have been.
Yeah, because it's like any parent being robbed when their child does something tragic or they're taken away from them. You're like, oh my God, I had this world of thoughts of what was going to be. And you realize once you play the first game, you're like, it's done. His journey is here, and this is what it comes to. It's like when characters just die off in movies, you're like, was that it? Like, do we care about the story that was invested in them? And for this, you do. You really care about these characters. So every time something happens to them, you're really sad, and you're like, that's it? And the worst feeling is when you finish the game. You almost feel like this satisfactory, like I completed it, but you also feel this emptiness. You're like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
For them. You're like, it's like Thanos just snapped his fingers, and they're gone. I remember after finishing the game, I felt sad and empty for all the characters that we had lost, and that I'm not going to be able to like hang out with the other characters anymore. So, but I think that's a very common thing with any game you play. So to see things pan out for him, to know that everything's going to be okay with him that's gone. So almost like what they do in the second one, in the second film, they're like, hey, we're going to get rid of these people, but you're like, oh no, they'll be back for the next one. But in this world, you're like, oh, they're done. So you're that invested, man. Yeah, you're that invested into the characters, and you're like, I can't believe it is over. So for some of them.
No, and that resonates for sure. That's why I can speak for myself and probably everybody here, saying that that's why we were so ecstatic to get Before the Storm, because I personally wasn't expecting anything else with those characters. And I remember when they announced it at E3, I was like driving and one of these guys told me on our group chat, and I just like swerved to the side of the road and like had to check it out and see what was going on. And even then, it's like, now I'm running on fumes, and like knowing that this chapter is over, and it is sad, but yeah, I'm excited for what's next.
I'm very happy that we're getting Captain Spirit. At least we have something. And from both sides of it, not only as a player, but as someone who gets to kind of voice one of the characters, I obviously feel like I have a little bit more connection to this character, and to really say goodbye to him from both sides is kind of sad. And you definitely start to miss the character even before he's gone. But I am glad that we will at least get welcomed back into the universe of it all with Captain Spirit. Right. So, but yeah, like even anytime they finish a game and you're like, yo, the next one's not coming for 4 years, you're like, I put me on ice for those 4 years, please. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm much more, I feel a movie fanatic, so every time they pull that stunt in a movie, such as what they did with Infinity War, Pirates of the Caribbean #2, The Matrix Reloaded, every time they do something like that, where they're like, no happy ending for characters, you're like, are you serious? You're really going to make me wait a year? Are you like, I'm not, all right, fine, I'll come back. I'll come back.
Yeah.
Back. So, like, hopefully there's that chance with these characters that you're like, oh, I can't believe you left me, but I would love to say hello to them again. So, so if anyone's casting a new Life is Strange game, I'd love to come back as Nathan. So, no. I do hope that they expand and they keep going after Captain Spirit. I hope that game is very successful, and I hope they bring all these characters back, and I hope we can explore just a little bit more. I understand we can't with a lot of characters, but we broke those rules with For the Storm, so we can do it again.
Well, we are getting some comics at some point in the near future.
I did hear some rumors about that. Is that a for sure thing?
It's confirmed. I think the date's tenuous, and it's you can pre-order it on Amazon, but it is a confirmed thing that's coming.
Nice.
And it takes place post season 1, so.
Okay.
Or you go on to make a podcast for almost 3 years because you can't ever let go.
Yeah. That's not bad. I guess I got to go pre-order some comics. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they come up with there. Just keep the world going. I hope that it has enough support behind it because the fans of the game are just phenomenal. Like, I'm so happy to be welcomed into this world because everyone's treated me so nice, and hopefully the makers just keep coming out with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I
hope so.
The content's amazing and it's fun. It's such a fun journey.
Yeah, it's really one of the best communities I've ever seen, just with the fans and the people who work on it being so closely integrated. It's a good little family.
Yeah, I was actually amazed to see how welcoming everyone was. And we've had streaming parties, we've hung out with each other. It's a lot of fun. I like everyone. Team life is.
I think that's like super cool for me to see. Like the community is like with this game and all that. The community was like kind of expected that of course like people are going to be like huge fans of this and they're going to come together. But it's cool to see too that it affects like the people who are a part of it, and like I see like on social media, like you said, like you guys are all like doing streaming parties and like hanging out and stuff like that, and like being a part of the community, and I think it's really, really cool. It's not something I've ever seen like from like the cast of video games and like the creators of video games and stuff, like, or any media really, like be so involved with their community. And I think that plays a large part to the continuing success, even when there is a bit of a drought of content, like official content, when we're waiting for episodes or games to come out and all that. But I think like just you guys being a part of the community and all that, it keeps people in it, and it keeps people excited for what's next. So it's really cool to see.
That's cool to hear. Like I said, we were welcome into this, and no one put their noses up to us or anything like that. At least I haven't gotten any of that vibe towards me, or no one's treated me with any negative comments or anything like that, saying we don't belong here. We're not being bullied for being a part of the prequel. So it's everyone just said, hey, welcome. And I can't thank the fans and just everyone. Yeah, like you said, I agree with everything you said. Just everyone was so kind, and it is cool because I don't see anybody from the cast of Call of Duty hanging out. So like it is it's cool to talk about it. And when there is a drought, at least this is what we can do. Like if there's nothing to play or read or anything like that, at least people can keep talking about it, and that'll keep it alive. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure. I remember last year when when they first invited me on the podcast as a co-host, I was talking to my buddy about it, and I was like so psyched because I had listened to it before, and it was after season 1. It was already long gone, long finished, and before the storm hadn't come out. And I remember him just saying, "That's cool, man, but like, what do you guys talk about? Like, it's over." Like, and it's just, it's the spirit behind it. It's just the camaraderie and knowing that other people have been affected and are invested as you are.
Yeah, that's true. People, yeah, they definitely do get invested, and it's, yeah. Now I'm dwelling upon it, and I'm getting sad.
You have to go back and play through it.
Yes. Yeah. I think I just actually got another copy of, I think, the first one. I basically got them for the different systems. I have PS4 and Xbox. So, of course, of different games. I got the Before the Storm PS4 and then the first one on Xbox. So, a little nerdy, but whatever.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, those are all the questions that we have for you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to join us.
Thank you for having me, guys.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you. And you're always welcome back. So
Thank you. That's cool. I'm gonna play it again, and I'm gonna ring you guys up, and we'll dive more into the characters and answer whatever questions I didn't get a chance to answer, or we'll just come up with new questions. Something.
Sounds like a plan.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, well, that was Caleb Thomas, everybody, the voice of Nathan Prescott in Life is Strange Before the Storm, if you haven't got that by now. And we will be back on the weekend of the 30th with our impressions of Captain Spirit. But we also, after that, we need to get to our Hell is Empty and our farewell episodes as well. But we're gonna front burner Captain Spirit.
Get that one out on time.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you as always for listening, and thank you to our patrons for helping keep us going. That was really bad grammar, but the thanks is there nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's the thought that counts.
We will catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. We love you.
Thanks.